Warning, this podcast contains the identity of A. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the Seen on TV podcast for Pretty Little Liars, Season 6, Episode 10, Game Over Charles. I'm your host, Dom. With me, my very sad and blue co-host, April.
Hey.
How's it going?
Wonderful. Actually, I'm quite blue.
You are? Why are you so sad?
They revealed A. I have nothing to look forward to.
There's plenty to look forward to. What are you talking about?
I have no idea. I'm blue for no reason.
Dabu dee dabu die, right?
Yeah.
So, CeCe.
I didn't see that coming, really.
AKA Charlotte.
Yeah. That was different.
Yeah.
They had made hints towards it being transgender.
Mm-hmm.
You know, A being transgender, but I kind of didn't expect it. It's kind of whoa.
You remember?
But then it fit.
Do you remember a couple weeks ago where I was like, they're probably not going to go this route, but I have like a gut feeling that it's like, you know, this transgender. It was like, I don't remember. It was like 4 or 5 episodes ago. I said,
yeah.
You know, it was just with the way like everything has been coming into media spotlight. Like I can't help but have that in the back of my mind. I'm not saying that was my concrete final answer because as you saw in our episode before this, you know,
we were both way off. Yeah, way off.
So, and then not only that, but there was a big Reddit, you know, leak,
right.
I should say. We did a podcast on it. If you guys haven't seen it,
not much of it was.
Yeah, go back and check. None of it really was accurate. I think the only thing they predicted was like the Sarah Harvey Emily kiss.
Yeah, right? They said somebody. That. They said God, why can't I think of his name? The guy that Allie was talking to, the cop.
Lorenzo.
They said he was gonna get hurt, but like I thought they said he was gonna die.
Yeah,
like
he
just got like hurt. Like that.
Yeah.
They
also went as far as saying that Sarah had nothing to do with it. That was a very specific thing that they had said in that
and
leak.
She was clearly a part of it.
Yeah, so
screw her.
That thing was way off. So anyway, let's get into the CeCe thing.
Yes.
Like, so obviously the internet's been going abuzz. It's been going like there's been rage. There's been everything. A lot of people are saying that the Reddit stuff was actually true, and they backpedaled at the last minute and threw all this together because somebody leaked that Ren was A, and they had to change. No, because this stuff was set up way in advance,
and it was right. They made multiple indications of it back in the past. Like I went back and I read an article. Marlene, is that how you say her name? Yeah. She said something about, oh God, I wish I could remember what it was, but she said that they told us it was CeCe a long time ago. Oh, with the airplane.
Mm-hmm.
When they went and they said that the airplane was rented by CeCe Drake. Like, that was a big clue. We should have looked further into that, but of course everybody dropped it because there was all these other hints around it, saying that's pointing to somebody else. So, it's been in the works a long time. I think people are just a little butthurt about it.
It's been in the works for a long time. Then it was either season 4 or season 5. They showed the flashback of the mother with 2 dresses.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like they clearly had set this up back then.
Right.
So
yeah, there was a lot indicating towards it. I think people, like I said, are just butthurt and screw them. It was great the way it fit together. Honestly, I
thought it was with the. Few minor thing. To me, it's major, but to everybody else, it's minor. I shouldn't say to everybody else because I have seen some lash out. But the timeline in which Toby's mom was killed does not add up with the timeline in the show. That's like the big major flaw of this, and why people are basically calling it out and saying like this is ridiculous. Like there's no way this could happen. So we see when before Charles transitioned into Charlotte.
Right.
Had to be no younger than 12, or no older than 12, I should say. Charles and Bethany were there, and Bethany pushes Mrs. Kavanaugh off the roof.
Right.
Right.
She kills her.
So if Charles is 12, that would make Allison, what, like 7?
Yeah,
somewhere
give or
around there.
take. Yeah, somewhere.
Because
Yeah.
but then there is clearly a flashback. I think it's in season 1, if I'm not mistaken, or it could be 2, of Allison and Toby. Allison being almost, like 17, 18, whatever the girls are supposed to be, talking to Toby, and Mrs. Kavanaugh walks into the room.
Well, they were, yeah,
So,
no, they were definitely not 17, 18, because that was before Allie was
well,
kidnapped.
they were like 16. They were
So,
they were definitely not like
yeah,
12.
yeah, no, it definitely doesn't fit with the timeline when you
Yeah.
put it out like that. Yeah,
Yeah, that.
100%.
So there's that huge gap there that doesn't make sense. Me personally, I think that CeCe could have just been lying about that whole thing, and that explains why the timeline doesn't fit. You know. So,
Yeah.
I
Eh.
mean, it's a cheap cop out excuse, but it it's the only explanation I can have as to why the timeline doesn't match up. I mean, the show is
Yeah.
called Pretty Little Liars. Surprise,
Yeah.
CeCe's lying about something. It's not really a surprise.
No, not really at all. So,
So
I mean, yeah, I guess I'd still like to think that Bethany did it just so it's explained and it's done and over
yeah,
with. But, whatever.
yeah.
I can't really say why
And
they made that major screw up.
right, and then there's a scene that's been floating around the internet a lot lately with Allison and her mom, where she basically crushes
Piano?
Allison's hands with the
Yes.
piano. Yeah, and
Yeah, you sent me that.
yeah, she goes flipping out. My
Two of
daughter
them are
just
done
like
playing games.
yeah. It's
Yeah.
like
I, yeah. I
if
mean,
if she knew that her daughter was CeCe, it could just be her lying to Allison and getting all worked up. Because if you're gonna get all worked up and you're gonna get mad at somebody for something, you could make anything seem like you're mad at it for whatever reason. Like, so
right.
she's
I
she's
think that
saying
was
she's
just
mad at Allison and CeCe switching places or whatever. She's probably just mad at Allison and is just throwing everything out there. So
right. Yeah, no, I don't think that was anything major. I think that was just her lashing out at, I mean, her secret daughter, in a way, speaking of terms, I guess,
yeah,
is befriending her daughter, and now they're doing all these stupid jokes together. Like, I mean, it's just, she was probably just frustrated and
yeah.
needed to lash out.
I mean, the creepiest part I think about the whole thing was that CeCe and Jason dated.
Yeah, that was really weird. Like
Yeah,
I couldn't get over that. I was like, okay, great, they didn't like, do whatever, but still like you could have just become friends with him. You
right,
didn't have to date him.
right.
What were you thinking? That's your brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was a little weird.
And she goes, well, that explains why he was frustrated all the time. And yeah, it kind of does explain that, but
Yeah, I
it's
guess.
still really weird.
It's super weird. I would never, and even in that situation, I would never date. Ew, no.
Yeah,
Ugh.
yeah.
Bleh.
And I mean, the other big controversy with Charlotte or CeCe or Charles, whatever you want to call him, her, is from the transgender community. Is actually they're pretty upset that they're portraying CeCe as being mentally unstable, because that is a huge stereotype in the transgender community right now, and it does not really paint them in a good light.
I
So,
mean, I guess I get where they're coming from. I mean, I'm pro everything. Like, I mean, to each their own.
right,
But to be mad at a TV show, I mean, it's a fictionalized TV show. It's
yeah,
not a documentary. It is not supposed to be telling the truth on anything. It's a little bit ridiculous to get mad. I could see. I heard some of them were upset that they didn't actually use a transgender actor,
yes, that's also
which
true.
or actress or whatever. But I mean, that I see being a little bit more legitimate of an argument, instead of being like, oh, they
Well,
portrayed her to have a mental illness. Like, that's what they had to do to put the whole story together. I mean, that's the way it fits.
yeah. Um, we I mean, the other thing is, like, this hasn't become widely accepted until, like, just recently, like within the
Right.
last year and a half.
Hmm.
When CeCe came in the show was 3 years ago.
Right.
So when they cast CeCe, a large variety of,
There wasn't a lot of
yeah,
people to choose from for that, and
yeah, exactly.
that's why I respect what they did too. I mean, it's fiction. That's, I think, what everybody really needs to remember is this is fictional.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they gave the motives, they gave, everything from CeCe, and what it
Hmm.
comes down to is CeCe grew up in a very unstable household.
Screwed up family.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
that's
that's
really
what it
what it
comes
comes
down
down
to.
to.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't come down to CeCe was crazy because she was transgender at all. It's CeCe had really shitty parents.
Exactly.
So she was handed shitty cards and has a whole messed up life now.
Yeah, I mean, she dated her brother, and then like
I
her
mean, that's
mom,
probably why she's got so many issues.
and then her mom finds out, and they go like on this trip to Cape May, and that's where she gets close to Allie. Like that was her intention. She wants to be close with her family again. So
Right, right.
I kind of understand why she did that route. It's still weird, but
It
it's
was super weird. I
yeah,
get it. She wanted to be in a part of the family. I mean, I do get it, but it's super, super freaking weird.
yeah. And then so that they proceed to go back through like the timeline and go back and they're like, oh well, Bethany found out that Mrs. D was having an affair with Bethany's father,
Surprise,
so
surprise.
she was sneaking out to hurt Mrs. D. We knew Mrs. D slept around because
Yeah.
Spencer and is it yeah Spencer, is it Spencer that's her half?
Uh, Sp- Jason is Spencer.
Jason. Yeah,
Yes,
it
yes.
was the same family, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, and then so CeCe or Charlotte snuck out to stop Bethany.
Right.
That's when
Ended up
she ended
hitting
up.
Allison.
Yeah, she cracked her over the head. Mrs. D ended up burying Allison. She's trying to
Which,
protect Charlotte still, even
I'm
after
sorry. Like, that
everything that
is
happened.
crazy.
It
You
is.
don't call like 911. Like, you're just like automatically like, oh, let me just get the shovel. I'm gonna bury her, keep Charlotte's secret. Okay, let's send her back to Radley. Like,
I
what kind of
mean,
a parent are you?
we already know she's a very messed up parent. We
Yeah,
already know
no.
this, so it really
Clearly.
doesn't surprise me. Because I remember when we were doing the shows way back when all this stuff was going down, that we said it's got to be one of Mrs. D's kids that she's protecting. Like we
Yeah.
called
Well, I
way,
mean,
way, way back. That was 2 years ago.
oh yeah, that was. But I
Um,
mean, it was obvious because I mean, you don't protect somebody as a random stranger. You
right,
don't.
right.
It had to be somebody she really cared and loved.
Yeah, had to be family. So
Yeah.
apparently, like when all that was going on, Mona all of a sudden realized that she's the one that killed Bethany. Like what? Like why?
Yeah.
Why are you just realizing this now?
I don't know how she didn't get this earlier. Maybe she did, and she was like, "Oh, I'm never gonna tell them," and then
Yeah,
kind of
she
had to.
just decided to come
That,
clean. She's like, oh yeah,
yeah,
well I
she was like,
cracked Bethany with
"Shoot,
this
you can't
shovel.
play that on A."
Yeah.
Like,
Like I'm so
ugh.
confused. Like when I'm trying to remember now when who was the girl that Emily was dating back in like season 2?
God, you're asking way too much of me right now, Dom.
Maya? Maya Goldstone. Um
Yes.
and I thought they found like the body in the house. Or was I like completely mistaken?
No.
I thought they
No.
found it like in the wall or something. In like a recently
Maybe.
renovated, I don't know. Like it seems
Maybe it
like
was
this
outside in their yard in
it
a
could have
recently
been.
renovated thing.
I remember
I
something
think
about
that's
a
what it
gazebo
was.
too, but yeah,
Yeah, me too. So now I'm confused. I don't
yeah.
know.
I don't know. I remember something about something in a wall, and then I remember a gazebo. So I feel like the story itself has changed a couple times, but I don't really know for sure. But it's just like that whole thing was weird, and then we had some flashbacks of Wilden, which it was
Which
kind of cool to
he
see
did a
Wilden
lot of
again.
cover-ups.
Yeah, I mean
I kind of explained his part in it, so
yeah, he was just a dirty cop. That's what he came down to.
yeah, pretty much. He
You
was
know.
going to do anything for an extra dollar or two.
Yep. So Mrs. D paid him to take CeCe back to Radley. Said that they were never in Rosewood. All that
Right.
stuff. So I don't think he necessarily knew that CeCe killed Allie. I
I don't
don't.
think he knew either. I think he just kind of knew something big happened and they didn't want anybody to know.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that the whole Allie being dead thing was between Mrs. D and Cece alone. I
Right.
think they kind of like kept that a secret.
I love that we're still calling her CeCe because that's what
Yeah,
we've known her as forever. But CeCe didn't
right.
actually exist. You know.
It's Charlotte.
Yeah.
Is that what we should be calling her?
Technically,
Or
but
does she like Cece better?
See, that's what we
her
don't
like
know, because
alter ego.
she definitely came in as Charlotte. You know, they said that they had Charles's funeral,
Yeah.
and she came back into Radley as Charlotte. You know,
She
but
thought that her mom was doing that for her. I thought that was like a sad realization when she realized her mom was doing it for the father. I kind of felt bad for CeCe at that moment.
yeah,
Like real bad.
yeah.
Really bad.
But she had, before she killed Allison, or killed Allison, I should say.
Right,
She
right.
was
Before she
granted
knocked her out.
yeah, she was granted access to attend school at UPenn. So
Right. And that's how she was able to meet Jason and them.
right. So there's that whole thing, and then so now as the timeline goes on, after season 2, that's when Mona shows up at Radley,
Right.
and CeCe basically would sneak into the room.
Find out about the girls.
Yeah, Mona would tell everything. Found out everything there
She
was to
thought
know
she
about
was
the girls.
Allie.
Yeah. So, CeCe all this time now is thinking Allie is still dead. But
Right.
she's like, if she's not, the way that I can get Allison out is if I put these girls in harm's way. So if Allison thinks these girls are in danger, she'll come out. I mean,
So
kind of makes sense, you know?
good. I mean, good logic. Because she said that she kept on seeing somebody in the red coat around, follow the girls. That's why
Right.
she started to think Allie was alive. And I mean, I guess that's really good logic if she saw this person watching over these girls all the time. I mean, yeah, of course she's going to save them. So, I
Yeah.
mean, her plan got messed up, but the girls confirmed it while she was being a creep and watching from the woods,
Pretty
as
much.
per usual.
Yeah. They confirmed it at the airport, and then CeCe said, when they went to New York, this was last season now, they went to New York, and the incident with Shauna and all that.
Right.
CeCe left for Paris. She goes, that was the perfect time to end the game.
Right.
But she couldn't. She was too addicted.
She couldn't. She liked the thrill of it.
Yeah, and I mean, I totally get that, because
Oh yeah.
there'll be like an inside joke that I have with people that is just downright cruel, right? It's like the
Right.
worst inside joke, and it should be stopped, but it's just too much fun. Like it's just
Right.
you
You just
can't
can't
stop
help
doing
yourself.
it because it's so much fun. So
Right.
even like long after the fact when it's dead and buried, you're still doing it because to you, as annoying as it is to everybody else, it's so fun for you.
Hilarious.
So
yeah.
I totally get CeCe on that. I get that. She's
No, I
addicted.
totally understood.
Yeah. But then CeCe ends up killing Wilden.
Keep her secrets because he didn't want Allie to come back.
Right.
So wait, if he didn't want Allie to come back, maybe he did know.
He might have. He might
And it
have
would have
pieced
made
everything
things-
together. He might not have
And
known the night of.
At the time, but he
Yeah.
pieced it together, and I mean that would have made things difficult for him.
Right.
So he couldn't let Allie come back.
Mm-hmm. And then, we got confirmation of Sarah being Redcoat. That's another huge, and not only Redcoat, but Black Widow.
Black Veil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man, I was so proud of Emily when she punched her.
She just clapped her. But that's another thing the internet's kind of been up in arms. They're like, oh, Sarah's just this minor character that just appeared out of nowhere, and now she's Redcoat and, Black Veil or Black
But I mean,
Widow.
she appeared out of nowhere, yes, but her name was around before. It's not like we didn't hear about her. And I mean, who's better to play these characters than somebody we're not expecting?
Yeah.
Like you brought up a couple podcasts ago, like it's like Saw.
Yeah. It's exactly like the actress Shawnee Smith. Her character Amanda was she was caught in a trap in the first movie, and that was the end of it. And then she's in the second movie again, playing another game, and then it's
Right.
Spoilers. It's revealed she's actually working with Jigsaw. So
Right. It's
it's
the perfect setup.
yeah, it's exactly, and that's exactly what Sarah was here. So
Right.
I think it worked well. I liked it.
I loved it.
I mean, I'm
honestly.
a little disappointed the Black Veil and Redcoat were the same people.
Same person. I was
know?
waiting for it to be somebody else.
Yeah.
As soon as they revealed her as Redcoat, I was like, all right, well, Black Widow's got to be somebody else. Who's it going to be? Is it Melissa? I was still thinking Melissa had a part of it, and nope, not so much. It was Sarah again, this time with brunette hair. She looked horrible as a brunette, by the way.
Yeah.
Gonna throw that out there. Not that anyone cares.
But then, so there was, what was, I forget now. I was just gonna say something about Redcoat. I don't remember now. Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
But I'll probably think of it as we go.
Yeah.
But then, so, all this goes on. They stop Charlotte from jumping.
Right.
She goes to, we're assumed, to a new mental hospital. Because Radley's gone. I mean, this whole thing took place at Radley.
Right. So, I mean, she's got to go somewhere, either that or jail. I mean, she did kidnap girls. I mean, she's come out with everything. And, oh, my God, we didn't even bring up, she's not the one who killed Mrs. D. So who killed Mrs. D?
Right. That's so every mystery now has been solved. Like, we got everything except for the lacrosse stick.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know what happened with the lacrosse stick.
You were never going to find out with that.
We're not.
No.
Right?
No.
We don't know what happened to kickboxing dude. Right?
He kickboxed his way out of
sharp knives.
Yeah.
We don't know what happened with the barrel. That crazy barrel that somebody's in. We never got anything about that.
Yeah, no.
Yeah. And now Mrs. D. But Mrs. D, we're going to get the answer to. That one I know. At some point.
Yeah, it's got to be revealed at some point.
Mm-hmm. So now we get a 2-week-ish. I don't know exactly how long it was.
Time jump.
It's a time jump to Labor Day. So
right. As they're
however long it takes for school proms to go to Labor Day. I don't know when school proms usually are, but
I don't know. It depends.
Yeah. But, so we go to Labor Day, and all the girls are getting ready. Aria's getting ready to go to Savannah. Spencer's getting ready to go to Georgetown. Emily's going to Pepperdine University in L.A. And Hannah, we're assuming, is still getting ready to go to New York with Caleb.
Right.
So.
And Allie stays behind.
Yes, she does. So.
Weird.
And then they did mention that Sarah was getting out of the hospital.
Yeah, right. And they didn't really say what she was in the hospital for, though.
Yeah, they said...
I'm assuming maybe Emily punching her. That was the only thing I can think that it might be.
I think something more may have happened. Because they said she can't really blame us. And then Emily said... Or somebody said something, along the lines of she probably will,
Right,
so
right.
I think it was more than the punching. I'm thinking maybe when the police rushed through, maybe she got shot or something. I don't know.
Maybe something. I mean, maybe we'll find out eventually. Probably not. They're just gonna drop it.
Yeah.
Screw that Sarah girl. We don't care about her anyways.
But then we get a 5-year jump. Right? We knew it was coming. So.
Right, we did. We just didn't know exactly when.
Yep. So we see Allison, who had stayed behind. She looks like she's a school teacher now. She's writing her name up on the board, which she writes Mrs. Rowland. With one,
right.
No plural, Mrs. Rowland. However, in interviews that I've read since with Marlene King, she said Allison's name is Rowlands. So I think her writing her name on the board, she got interrupted when the girls came in, never finished.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Yeah. And then Hannah
do you
supposedly.
Remember anybody with that last name first?
I don't believe so. No.
Me either. Okay, so I was trying to figure out who it is.
Yeah. Hannah supposedly engaged, from what Marlene says. She said, in the finale you can see the ring on Hannah's finger. I
didn't even notice.
I looked. You cannot. There's no way.
Yeah,
I specifically
I didn't notice it.
Yeah.
All right, good, because I didn't miss it then.
It was probably an alternate cut or something. They didn't end up making it, and that happens all the time. They get confused what scene made it in and stuff like that. So there's no way to tell. So she's engaged. The question is to who? Is it Caleb? Or is it somebody new? A lot could happen in 5 years. So
yeah. Spencer's hair looked like crap.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were coming for her before because he was coming for Allie, and I want to know who he is.
He is. Yeah. So
it's clearly not CeCe.
No.
Or Charlotte.
No.
Whatever she goes by now. So I kind of want to know what's going on with that.
Mr. De Laurentiis is my only guess at this point.
I mean, if he woke up, I mean, we kind of didn't find out.
Yeah.
Him and Jason kind of were left out of. And then did the mothers ever escape the basement? Because we didn't see them saying goodbye to the girls.
No, they're still looking for more wine down there or something.
Hey, party in the basement.
Pretty much. I think the girls would be a little more distraught, and I don't think Aria would be going off to LA if the mothers were still missing in the basement somewhere.
Yeah, probably not.
So, safe to say they all made it out.
I would hope so.
But yeah, I'm excited to see what happens in the second half of this.
Me too. January is too long.
Yeah, but Marlene did say that Caleb, Toby, and Ezra are all going to be part of the world when we get back. So.
Of course they are. I mean, they're main characters. If they weren't in there, I'd be a little disappointed.
Yeah.
Actually, a lot disappointed.
Yep. So,
that
unfortunately,
was a big reveal.
Yeah, unfortunately, now we have to wait until the winter for this to come back. So probably early January.
If it's late January, I'm going to be a little ticked off because this is already way too long for me to have to wait.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very interested to see who this he is.
There's going to be a whole new mystery now. I can't wait to see how they make this go on for another season and a half.
Yeah, and I think whoever this he is going to be linked to the death of Mrs. De Laurentiis. So.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that happening.
Mm-hmm. And, you know, they already seeded into our minds last episode that, you know, maybe Charlotte CeCe was not the one who killed Mrs. D, and it seems like that's true.
Right. I mean, she got there and...
But, Mrs. like we said, the show is called Pretty Little Liars.
Little Liars, and CeCe can be lying. So, yeah, you're right.
So, before I reserve judgment and get mad at this timeline discrepancy, you know, with Toby's mom and, like, a couple of these other little things that don't exactly add up, I'm going to give the show a chance. They got a year and a half to explain this. So, fix it, and I'll be fine. If they don't fix it, then I'm going to end very bitter on the show. No, they didn't
listen to you about the lacrosse stick. They're not going to listen to you about this.
It's true.
They're like, you know what? Let's find a way to piss Dom off. Let's do it.
Pretty much.
Unfortunately for you.
Yep. So, yeah, I think that's about it. You have anything else?
No, not really.
No.
Kind of touched basis on everything, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So, that about wraps it up. You can find me down below at Phenomenon, PHENOMEDOM. You can also find the two of us and others on Facebook, Gmail, G+, Twitter, MySpace. Excuse me. And right here on YouTube at /ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows.
MySpace.
I don't know, it hurts me every time I try to say that. But yeah, till January. I'm hoping that they slip us a Halloween episode this year.
I'm thinking they're going to. They have almost every year, so probably see us around then.
Yeah. Till then.
Till then, guys. Peace out.